And just like that, just like I predicted, Ohio State goes down to Michigan. Michigan wins this game the second year in a row, and it's all on Ryan Day and that horrible secondary for Ohio State. And I'm not gonna lie, I told you all, I'm gonna link the video in the description where I predicted this outcome. I said Ohio State has issues. They're soft. The defense for the running game, they played decent until the final quarter. The final quarter, they just like let up completely. Michigan made a lot of adjustments at halftime. Ohio State made none. And that's what happens when you don't make adjustments. You lose the games. Michigan did. Ryan Day didn't. And in my humble opinion, I do think Ryan Day needs to be fired immediately. And they need to find somebody that's going to bring some grit for Ohio State. They're going to bring some toughness because they're just soft. They play soft. The secondary is just god awful. And they just give up. And now we could talk about the offense. The offense, 100%, it's better than Michigan's, and there's just no doubt about it. And Ohio State would have won this game if Ryan Day knew how to call plays. This man just does not know what he's doing. He gets scared and he plays afraid. He doesn't go for the neck. Throwing bubble screens this entire game. He's not using CJ Stroud effectively. This is not a system where an NFL quarterback needs to thrive in. They need to throw the ball downfield. He needs to take shots, and he just won't. Ohio State was able to run the ball on Michigan this entire game. They could not stop them, and Ryan Day just didn't understand that at all. He kept trying to play for CJ Stroud, let him have like his moment, but then he also didn't because he kept calling the bubble screens. And I will give Michigan their props. Their defense hunkered down in the end, and they were able to stop them. But honestly, Ryan Day stopped Ohio State, especially in that second half. He stopped them completely, and no adjustments made on defense. Jim Knowles was in man the entire time. Michigan took complete advantage of it. The reason Ohio State lost is because they let up like 5 big plays, just one play touchdowns back to back to back, and then 2 more in the fourth quarter. That's 35 points. And how many points did Michigan have? 45? What's 45 minus 35? That's 10. This game would have been a lot closer. Ohio State probably would have won if all that just did not happen. If the corners and DB safety, if they could tackle and the play calling is better, Ohio State would have won. And then the adjustments Michigan made in the second half. J.J. McCarthy was the one to run the ball. He got it started for Michigan. And then basically when Ohio State gave up and didn't care anymore, they got 2 really long runs at the end with Donovan Edwards. Just a really poor outing for a team that had a lot of hype, but a lot of people knew that they were overrated. I knew they were overrated. Everyone was talking about them like, oh, they're so much better than last year. They're so much better, especially the defense. The defense is so much better. No, the secondary was the exact same. I said that in 2 previous videos. The secondary is really bad, and their front 7 is a little bit better, but it wasn't that much better. I had Ohio State fans in the comment section calling me crazy. They're only gonna let 10, 13 points to Michigan. And now you guys understand that Ohio State really does not have a good defense, especially the secondary. Like I said before, front 7, fine. They're good. They played very good in this game all the way up to the end of the game. But the reasons Ohio State lost this game was their secondary and the play calling. Those are the only 2 reasons. I feel really bad for that running back core for Ohio State because they actually played good. CJ Stroud, until he threw that interception, looked pretty good. And this is why Ryan Day needs to be fired. They need something like Urban Meyer installed in them. They need somebody to get in their face and just not treat them like they're the best players on the planet. You can't just go out there and be a yes man to all these guys. You have to grit it out, and you have to win these games in the trenches, which Ohio State was. But the play calling, Ohio State never had this many issues with play calling, especially in the game, the entirety of Urban Meyer's tenure in Ohio State. And Ryan Day comes in, gets outcoached by Jim Harbaugh again after they got embarrassed last year. And now they get embarrassed even more this year. He has to go. That's it. If you don't move on from Ryan Day, he has shown that he is not the type that's going to adapt. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to do the same thing he always does. And that's going to be it. This is what you're going to get at the end of the year. Michigan knows how to beat Ohio State. So you guys will not go to the playoff anymore. You will not. You will not win anything because he knows. And that's why Michigan almost fired Jim Harbaugh, because he did not know how to beat Urban Meyer. He did not know how to beat Ohio State, and he kept getting beat year after year after year, and he just could not figure it out. And now the roles have reversed. Michigan knows how to beat Ohio State, and Ohio State does not know how to beat Michigan. So if I were them, I would cut it from there. I'd say, Ryan Day, you're done. We're not going to lose to Michigan 6 years in a row like Jim Harbaugh lost to us. And we're going to move on. We're going to get somebody that's actually going to get our guys ready, have a good plan, not get scared, and just play with a lot more integrity. I noticed that this team did not really play with integrity. So many penalties, so many mistakes. They weren't ready. They let their emotions get to them so much, and it cost them the game basically. And that's all I really have to say. But in other news, South Carolina beat Clemson by 1 point at home, snapping that win streak. So yeah, Clemson, they're definitely out of the picture. But what does that mean for Ohio State? I don't really know. If they get the 4th spot in the playoff, I feel like Georgia would just completely annihilate them. So I just don't know what would happen. I mean, the only way they get in is if TCU loses USC and LSU, and then they'll probably end up putting Ohio State at the 4th spot because you cannot put Alabama there. They have 2 losses, and they aren't looking that good this year either. So, I mean, if I'm an Ohio State fan, I want TCU to lose, LSU, which LSU will lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game, and then USC has to lose to Notre Dame or Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. And the last thing I want to say before I end the video, what if Ohio State does get that 4th spot? They do beat Georgia, and then whoever plays Michigan wins, and then we get a rematch of the game in the national championship. That would be absolutely insane, and I feel like there's a chance. There is a little chance. So, I don't know. We'll see. That's the end of the video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.